And the first item be taken out of order. The official board report has been withdrawn. Senator Wynn will handle this. This is on...
What number is that, Mr. Mayor?
It's, what is it, Mr. Pinellas? Which one is it? 8A? 8A.
Mr. Mayor, this was a request by the taxicab industry to make a presentation. I believe Mr. Eisenberg is here. He requested to be placed first on the agenda. Mr. Eisenberg?
All right, Mr. Wynn, you handle
Yes,
it.
thank you very much. Mr. Eisenberg, just state your name for the record, please. Mr. Chairman Pinellas.
8A.
Mr. Chairman Pinellas, are you familiar with this subject matter?
Yes, sir, I am.
In lieu of that, I would then I'd like to turn this over to you, and you conduct this here, being this comes from your committee.
Yes, sir.
So if you would,
yeah,
Mr. Pinellas.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Eisenberg contacted me and I believe other members of the commission last week regarding vehicle inspection matters that had just come into effect. He requested that we put this item on as a citizen's presentation. I believe most, if not all, of my colleagues have noticed that the industry is demonstrating at this point outside County Hall, and in an effort to perhaps address their issues in a quick fashion, Mr. Eisenberg requested that he be put on the agenda first. Having said that, he has agreed to be the only speaker from the industry who will make a brief presentation and some recommendations. So, Mr. Eisenberg, if you shall.
Excuse me, this is taxicabs?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Only.
I'm Leslie Eisenberg, and I'm with the taxicab industry. Dade County taxicab drivers are not making a decent living, and it's not because the fare isn't high enough. In the face of over 2,000 illegal taxicab-like operations per day being performed by illegal vehicles that are not inspected at all, the taxi industry last month was told to endure yet another hardship. The hardship of each taxi driver with each vehicle standing in an average of 12 to 19 lines and inspections a year waiting to be inspected. Each inspection is comprised of an emission inspection, a mechanical inspection, and a taxi inspection. Commissioners, the history has been this. Up until last month, the taxicab industry endured quarterly inspections. Quarterly to a taxicab driver means 4. 1 month ago, we were told by the Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division to stand in 2 more lines per quarter in locations that are miles apart. Drivers are now spending 2, 3, and 4 days of lost revenue being inspected each quarter. In addition to this, when a vehicle is given a citation for being deficient, such as a scratch in the paint or a bald tire, Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division now requires that the taxi driver take the vehicle through 3 more lines in 2 different locations, miles apart, to be inspected for the scratch or just the bald tire. These inspections have nothing to do with the deficiency. This Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division, Commissioners, that is Sheila Rushton and Thomas Marco, have an adverse relationship with our taxicab industry. This Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division has an adverse relationship with the citizens of Dade County, except the citizens of Dade County don't know it. The citizens don't know that this Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division cost them over $6 million in lost bus revenues due to illegal jitneys last year alone. And that can be verified by the Metro Dade Transit Authority. The citizens don't know that due to lost revenues because of illegal vehicles, the taxi industry received an accelerated fare increase, which now costs our ridership another $40,000 a day. Because of the vast number of illegal vehicles and operations, this Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division now has a tiger by the tail and has copped a deregulationist type attitude. This is the same Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division that doesn't understand that the taxi industry has to be exclusive so we can have enough money for quality taxi drivers and vehicles that are in good condition. This Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division doesn't want to know that the reason Dade and other world-class cities have an exclusive bus system with exclusive routes is so that they can have enough money to get quality bus drivers and decent equipment. The reason this county gives an exclusive super shuttle contract at the airport is so that there is enough money to have quality drivers and decent vehicles. This Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division doesn't know in order to have quality taxi drivers and decent equipment, this industry has to be exclusive so that these taxi drivers can make a living. If Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division continues to look the other way, we all fail. Commissioners, I'm here today to ask you to bite the bullet and put an all-out effort into enforcing the existing laws and stopping illegal operations. Commissioners, I'm here today for temporary relief until we can have all vehicles inspected in one place 4 times per year. I've met with control systems, and they perform the inspections for all citizens of Dade County once a year on all their vehicles. They currently perform some of the inspections for taxi cabs. They tell me that they've quoted Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division a number of less than $30 so that these taxis can be inspected in one place. Yet on December the 2nd, Passenger Transportation Regulatory Division invoked 2 more inspections, making drivers drive miles in between inspections, taking 2, 3, and 4 days. We have to streamline this, Commissioners. We're losing an enormous amount of money, and we're losing valuable drivers. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. All right. That was
Yes,
very
sir.
nice. Please. Okay. Hold it.
As long as they're all
Sit
here,
down.
you're going to have it here.
No more. You did very well. I'm sure Mr. Eisenberg is very thrilled of the round of applause you gave him. Possibly he'll now be running for some office, and you all can help him then. Mr. Eisenberg, you will continue under the guidance of our chairman of the board.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. In light of what Mr. Eisenberg has stated this morning, and in light of the fact that I think any immediate injunctive relief of any sort would require a moratorium, which would require an extraordinary vote of this commission, I would move that we request Sheila Rushton and her department to immediately work on administratively streamlining the inspection process and report back to the commission at our next meeting on February 4th. I would also move as a second motion that we have the Ground Transportation Review Committee take vehicle safety and inspection requirements for all for-hire vehicles as its first order of business when they commence meeting at the beginning of next month, and once they've reached a consensus on this issue, that they draft the appropriate ordinances and bring them to our attention.
What I'm understanding right now, Commissioner, is that we hold this in abeyance until a report is brought forth from Ms. Rustin Is that what you're saying?
No, actually, I'd like the motion would be that the department try to do everything they can administratively to streamline the process, the inspection process, and start implementing that immediately, and then report back to us February 4th. The motion does not preclude them from taking immediate action once they've identified which ways they can streamline the process. It's only to report back to us by February 4th.
What I don't understand.
Is that, Mr. Eisenberg, is that acceptable in your understanding?
Yes. I would also like to ask you to have the committee look into hundreds of vehicles that will be required by law for the first time to retire on August the 2nd because of their age. Although they are in excellent condition, as
Right.
you know, they've been inspected to death.
Well, as I indicated, Mr. Eisenberg, as my second motion, I'm asking that committee to take up the entire for-hire inspection
Okay.
process as their first order of business.
Okay.
I
To wit,
second your motion.
Well,
I have
Mr.
something to
Mr.
say.
Eisenberg, do you want to continue on this?
to wit, age of vehicles as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
With that in mind, then, if we have you have nothing further, Mr. Eisenberg? You have nothing further?
Is there anything we can say about illegal operations?
Mr. Chairman,
I think the subject matter...
if I may,
I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
because the illegal operations is an issue that
Separate.
is very critical to this commission. We were fortunate last year in obtaining the governor's veto on an item that would have legalized a great many vehicles on the street, and at this point, we do have control over that, and we have made a serious effort to try to accommodate the jitneys, incorporating them into our transit system. But unfortunately, as we speak, there are some state legislators who are again trying to do an end run around Dade County and are attempting to take control back away from us through state regulation. And I would hope that certainly this commission stands strong in its efforts to maintain control of the street. We have worked diligently to have staff impound vehicles, to enforce our regulations, regain control. But I'm afraid until we can get the state legislature to understand the criticalness of this and the fact that it can cost the taxpayers of Dade County many millions of dollars, as Mr. Eisenberg points out, that they're going to keep trying to do favors for certain lobbyists in Tallahassee, and we're going to end up having to fight this battle every year. So I would ask all the taxi drivers here, as information comes out as to which state legislators are pushing these state regulations contrary to your best interests and the interests of all the taxpayers in Dade County, that you mount an effort to contact them and let them know that this is not what the people of Dade County want, and that you are watching. So we will be working on that as this session goes on.
You include all legislators?
Anybody who's working
All
against Dade
legislators.
County. Yeah.
I mean, working with or without, but all legislators. And before Mr. You asked for the floor, I'll give that to you.
Bill filing is over, is that correct? I know that's correct. But of course, there always can be an amendment. Is there any legislator, Dade County legislators, representative or senator who filed a bill to do what you said?
I understand there is, but I don't want to mention any names right now.
Well, I'd like to know.
Public
It's public record.
Yeah.
Let me know. I'd like.
Well, it is, but I don't want to, what I'm saying, Commissioner Hawkins,
You don't know the name yet.
I think I do,
Oh.
but I don't want to
Can you let-
identify somebody
Okay.
inappropriately, because
Fill us
obviously that
into the
wouldn't
hopper.
be fair.
Could you let us know later in the day, because I would not mind calling the state representative or state senator and explaining to him, my feelings personally.
Right.
Good. Good.
And
I will.
incidentally, you'll